It's a Travis Book Happy Hour with special guest Tim O'Brien, and also featuring the Happy Hour House Band with Jan Fabricius and Tommy Marr. And now, your host and mine, Travis Book.
Thank you, Bill. Welcome to the Happy Hour, everyone. It's been a few months since we did one of these, so grateful to have Tim O'Brien here tonight. I'll start out how I always do. Why we worry, tell me. Why we cry, and tell me. Can we live together without pain? Burdens at our doorstep, burdens in our heart. It's time to let them travel, lay them down. From the tallest mountain, down in the lowest valley, we're all asking and we want to know why we're climbing, tell me. Why we're falling, tell me. Where we're going, we want to know. Rise, sunrise, rise, sun, rise, sun. We've been hoping there's a new day coming, and it is not promised, but it's all we know. Can we quantify it? Try and name it. Try to fight it while we hold it close. Rise, sunrise. Rise, sun, rise, That's my man Tommy Marr down there on the dobro. So grateful for you, Tommy. I don't know where I'd be without you.
Thank you, Travis. I love you very much.
Thank you, Tommy. The Travis Book Love Fest is what this is about turning into.
This is a love stream.
We hope you... Yeah, buddy. No, not yet. Man, really appreciate you all coming out tonight and tuning in. There's a lot of you tuning in out there on the interwebs, and some of you will be watching this after the fact. And it's been a long time since I did one of these. I think this is like a 22nd or 23rd happy hour episode I've done. And when we started during the pandemic, it was like every 2 weeks, and it was all we had. And you know, and I don't know if you've noticed, but things are getting back to normal. You know, we're in here and we're hanging out, and it's feeling good. The pandemic is not over. At least that's what my dad tells me, but it's starting to feel really endemic. And I've always joked, I started joking like a few months ago. I'm like, I'll give this thing 2 years. I'll give it till March 11th, 2022, and then I'm going to be like up to here with this thing. And I know that everybody else is feeling the same, but you know, great job, everyone. We're doing it. We're getting endemic. It feels good. Everyone's doing their part. This is like walking on eggshells trying to talk about that stuff. I don't even know. Like, my dad's going to text me and be like, dude. So excited that Tim O'Brien is here. As you are, too, because you're here. You bought the ticket. You want to take the ride. You know, when I started playing this music, the Hot Rize 20th anniversary CD got stuck in my CD player in my 86 4Runner, and so I listened to that a lot. Like, I know that music so well, and you know, and I don't know if it still is this way, but I know the first probably like 4 or 5 years that I was playing and singing bluegrass, I pretty much did everything I could to sound like Tim O'Brien, and so so to have him here tonight is really amazing. We had a great show last night in Brevard, and tonight should be good too. I've got a bunch of questions I'm going to ask him and try to put him on the spot. Another thing that has happened since saw you last is that my band, the infamous String Dusters, put out a record. It's called Toward the Fray. And we're really happy about it. Right?
I listened to the whole thing already, actually, and it's really good.
Just one time?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Tommy. That's good. That's good. You still get paid. So I'll play a version of a song that's on there. A song I wrote, basically wrote on Instagram with a little help from my friend Paul Hoffman from Green Sky Bluegrass. And you can actually go back on my story and watch 3 days, consecutive days, and me hashing this one out. But Tommy's going to join me for this. Play this song. We'll take a little short break for our sponsors, and then we'll get Tim out here and start asking him some questions. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. The only one here breathing. Am I the only one awake? Is mine the only heart that's beating? The quiet, it's almost more than I can take. I have painted all these walls, trimmed to ceiling. I have waited for so long, still I'm wanting at night. Wander through my memory of what seemed like only passing show, but still it's only just a reimagining of all it's written long ago. I am lying here in bed, should be sleeping. I am listening instead, get the feeling that I'm not alone. I'm not sum of all my wondering. Will I see the beauty in the year? Can I peel away the layers of longing? Can I learn to live with all my fears? I have painted all these walls, trimmed to ceiling. I have waited for so long, still the feeling that I'm not alone. 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 Thank you. We're going to take a short break for our sponsors, and we'll be right back with Tim O'Brien.
The Travis Book Happy Hour is brought to you by Americana Vibes, presenting the latest studio release, Toward the Fray, by the infamous String Dusters, as well as releases by Morsel, Andy Falco, and the Sweet Lilies. More at AmericanaVibes.com. Listen to Happy Hour media partner WNCW at 88.7 FM or stream at WNCW.org. If you're enjoying the Happy Hour, please contribute via paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo at Travis Book. And once again, your host, Travis Book.
Thank you. This is awesome. I miss doing this. This is really fun for me. Thank you all for being here. You know, usually, sometimes I'll make up an elaborate introduction for somebody, but you know, sometimes it can be kind of weird. I like talk about how amazing someone is, and they got to come up here and stand in front of you and like prove how amazing they are. So I'm just going to have him come up here, and we're going to get into it. Please make welcome to the stage, Mr. Tim O'Brien. Tim, do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
I'm trying to get ready. I'm ready to answer your questions.
I brought you a stool if you'd like to get comfy, but you know. Yeah. But you're Tim O'Brien, so you can do whatever the hell you want.
I just thought, you know, I should get my stuff plugged in. But you know, that's okay. Hey, we're on an interview segment, so I can it's like we're sitting on a couch.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, cool. How's everybody doing tonight? Hey.
Handheld. Hey.
I'm Jerry Springer. Welcome to the show.
You know, I actually never really noticed there is a little bit of a resemblance to Mr. Springer. The Jerry Springer of bluegrass right here. But in all seriousness, Tim, you grew up in West Virginia.
Yes, I come from Wheeling, West Virginia. That's in the northern panhandle. Have anybody ever been up there? Yeah. We're in North Carolina. You know, there's an episode of Andy Griffith's show where Howard Sprague, there's this girl is kind of interested in him, and Andy and Howard go up on the train to Wheeling, and she stands him up, and they have to come back, and it's very sad. That's where I'm from.
That is sad.
That's right, where the river meets the road. The Ohio River flows through there. Ohio County, yeah.
Was music around when you were growing up? Was it part of your family scene?
Well, my dad sang "The Bear Went Over the Mountain, the Bear Went Over the Mountain" when he was driving, and I dream of Jeannie with the long brown hair. And that's about all he would sing. And then, he'd sing in church. And my sister started singing. We started singing in harmony in church. She said, "What are you doing? Singing harmony?" I said, "Yeah, it sounds okay, doesn't it?" And then we got interested in the Beatles, and we went to see the Beatles play at Pittsburgh at the Civic Arena, September of that year, whatever it was. And then soon after that, a bunch of my friends got guitars, Sears and Roebuck's guitars, and we started playing. And I learned how to play Peter Gunn, doo-ba doo-ba doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And I was off. I got my own.
That was it. Yeah, right. And immediately got in a band, probably, right? I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah, we had the terrible bands, and we played, we thought we had a band. We knew 4 songs. And we played parties, a couple parties. And then we played these record hops. We played I can't remember the name of the station. It was a pop station in Wheeling, and they would do these record hops. The teenagers would come around and we'd play like a 20-minute set, and then they would spin records for a half hour, and then you'd do another 20-minute set, and then my parents would come pick me up.
And off to bed.
Yeah. And then there was also this radio show in Wheeling. It was a country music station. It was kind of an important one, and had a Saturday night live broadcast called the Wheeling Jamboree, WWVA, and they broadcast all the way up into Canada and all up to New England. All my bluegrass buddies from the Northeast kind of would listen to that late at night, and I could go down there on Saturday night and see the pros play. I'd see Jerry Lee Lewis and Merle Haggard and Charlie Pride and Jerry Reed, stuff like that. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So how did that lead to mandolin, though, and songwriting?
Well, I met some bluegrass guys. Of course, I heard some on the Jamboree, and then my aunt gave me a fiddle that she used to play in the symphony before she got married and had kids and everything. So I tried to make some sense of that. I went to college for a year. I didn't last long in college, but I was there a year, and I learned how to play the mandolin.
Nice.
My friend had a mandolin, and he had a book that had some tablatures for a mandolin, and they were songs that fiddle tunes that I already knew on the guitar from listening to Doc Watson. And so I went, oh, that's how the fiddle works, because it's the same tuning and stuff. So then I went home and got the fiddle, and then my dad had played a banjo mandolin in college, and so he had this thing laying around. So
Those
this
are really
that
cool.
terrible sounding thing. I mean, really loud. No way you could ever tune it. I mean, a mandolin you can't tune anyway, but a banjo mandolin with a head and 8 strings.
Yeah, totally. You
kinda
combine
crazy.
2 completely untunable instruments into one instrument.
Yeah.
There's no possible way.
Yeah, it's
It's
sure
just
way to
science.
turn everybody away from you and to spend a lot of time alone.
It's yeah. Well, they call that the isolator. So you're playing mandolin. You're in college, but you're not really going to college. You're doing what a lot of us do in college, which is hang out.
I was studying Doc Watson records and David Bromberg records, and there was some real Dylan freaks in our dormitory. We played in the dormitory stairwell, me and a couple buddies.
Good
My
tones in
friends
there.
had their music. My 2 buddies that played guitar and bass and banjo. Their room was the Ozone Music Center. We'd always put the towel, under the door. So, kind of keep the smells inside. And then we would go to the stairwell where there was a lot of echo, and we would play, and sing the songs by the band and Doc Watson and stuff.
So most of us were first exposed to you through the legendary band Hot Rize, which was a Colorado institution. How did you end up in Colorado? What set your trajectory west?
Well, I had spent summers working at a summer camp in Jackson Hole, and some friends were going to spend the winter out there. And I didn't go back to college the second year, so I went out there. Landed out there right before Thanksgiving of that '73, and I dug in and I played solo in bars and a pizza parlor. I played at a pizza parlor, and I lived behind the pizza parlor in a little house there. The guy gave me a place, and he fed me burnt pizzas and stuff.
Yeah, like the leftover stuff.
Yeah,
Stuff you couldn't serve.
So I woodshedded on the fiddle, and then I had a friend that a fellow I had met in West Virginia who was living in Colorado, and he said, "You should come out there, and you can play in our band, and maybe you can work, can give lessons in the music store." So I did. There wasn't much going on at Jackson Hole, so I made it down to Boulder, and I met all these people, and then I just stayed there for 22 years, basically. And I was in a band there called Ophelia Swing Band, and then in 1978, Hot Rize started, and then we did that for a dozen years full time.
Yeah, can you talk? Chautauqua. Can you tell me a little bit, explain? Hot Rize was so sort of seminal for a bunch of these Colorado bands, it was such a big influence on the late '90s bluegrass scene. It also, even like bands like the ones I was in the early aughts, we really traced our origins to Hot Rize. How did that band come together?
Well, there was a little record label there in Denver called Biscuit City, and the Ophelia Swing Band made a record, and then they offered me a deal to make a solo record, make a fiddle record. So I did that, and I had been sitting in when I was able to with Pete Wernick and Charles Sawtelle. They had a band called the Rambling Drifters. They played every Tuesday at the Denver Folklore Center. Like one Tuesday they'd be the Rambling Drifters, the next Tuesday they'd be the Drifting Ramblers. Rebuilt Ramblers. They had all kind of different names, but it was those two guys and a guy named Warren Kennison and various bass players and various fiddle players and dobro players. Nick played the dobro with them some, and I played the fiddle with them when I could. And then Pete Wernick made a record too that I helped him on. And Charles played on both my record and Pete's. And then Pete called up and said, "Well, let's get a little group together and we'll go and promote our records." And that was in the fall of '77. So we started playing gigs in January of '78, and there was always just a carrot at the end of the stick. We kept going for it, never kind of reached it, and we kept playing, and we kept getting a few more gigs. And Nick joined the band soon after we played our first gigs, and it's just kind of, we had a good time. We were like four guys against the world. We bought a '68 Cadillac Sedan DeVille, and we got a trailer, a old U-Haul trailer that we painted to sort of match it, kind of, and we traveled down the road with that thing. We had our PA in the back and a bunch of T-shirts to sell.
That's amazing. Tim, you're easily one of my biggest influences. But who really influenced you early on?
Well, I talked about the Beatles and stuff, but my older brother Trip, he was 10 years older than me. He went away to college, and when he came back, he had records by Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Odetta, and Joan Baez, but he also had Ray Charles and Miles Davis, Lambert Hendrickson Ross. The Count Basie Orchestra was Joe Williams singing blues. And I just said, well, this is really cool. And then, like I said, I got into the Beatles kind of right around then, too. So then, what was the question? Oh, the influences. Oh, well, then there was this guy that showed up on TV, on public TV one day, Doc Watson. And I just went, wow, what is that? And I said, wow, that's how you play the guitar. That seems like the best thing in the entire world. And so I kind of got into him. I remember my dad waking me up like at 7 in the morning, like a half hour before I had to get up to go to school. He said, "Tim, your friend's on TV." Doc Watson was on the Today Show.
Nice.
So, I got up. I just was really into Doc, and when I was in high school, I saw him for the first time, and Doc and Merle. But yeah, Doc was kind of the thing, and there was a guy also in Wheeling at Roger Bland was a great banjo player, and he really taught me a lot about timing, and got my first taste of playing bluegrass there. That was just the beginnings of it, though. But yeah, those Doc Watson, you know, kind of hard to beat that, and it just kind of keeps going. But you know, I got into Irish music and blues, you know, like the stuff like the Beatles and Doc Watson. There's always a sort of a door behind them of where their influences were, so you kind of figure out who they're getting their songs from. And Ralph Stanley, Flat and Scruggs. But I mean, you know, beyond that, Doc Watson Family, that was a fantastic record. Just kind of turned my head around.
When you're listening to music these days, what do you listen to?
Well, you know, I listen to, I get on my my device, you know, my handheld device, and I listen. I kind of search for things, weird things, and maybe I'll read about them in the paper or something, and I'll check it out. But then mostly at home, I'll listen to stuff that I already know, and I kind of hear new things in it. I kind of go back over old stuff a lot. It's kind of, I'm getting old. I'm actually old.
You don't look old, Tim. You never have.
I got a Social Security card.
It's weird, man. I'm gonna go gray before you do.
We love you, baby.
What is a day in the life of Tim O'Brien like?
I just read a lot. I get up in the morning and I read a lot, and then I work in the office, you know, the home office, and kind of get the logistics of a tour or, you know, a recording session together. But then I'll practice and maybe write. I like to cook. I like to keep the kitchen going and try new things that way. But you know, it's just you'd have to ask Jan. My wife can tell you what the day's like. She'll tell you a completely different story.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I bet you if we really want to know, we should ask Jan. So you alluded to it a moment ago. You know, you've been around for a while. You've been at this a little while. What keeps you motivated? What keeps you inspired?
Well, the music keeps surprising me. You know, what was amazing during the pandemic was I went back to basics. You know, I got a guy shipped me a mandocello. I'd always wanted one, and an old friend of Brian Bowers, he said, I'm 80 years old and used to play this mandocello, and I'm not leaving my compound here until there's a vaccine. My girlfriend can't even come around. He said, so if I don't make it, these instruments are just not going to go anywhere, so I'm going to ship them around to my friends in the meantime. So he sent me this. It was a tearful conversation. He shipped me this old Gibson, you know, 1915 mandocello, and I always wanted one. And then I've got a mandola and I've got mandolins, and I thought, well, what do I do with this? And I tried to write a string quartet, you know, like what it would be 2 violins, a viola, and a cello. Well, you can do that with mandolins of the sizes. So I learned how to write in the tenor clef and the bass clef, which is freaky. I never tried that. I could write in the treble clef. So I took some Irish harp tunes and started trying to harmonize them and make them kind of like a little Baroque kind of powdered wig sounds. And I did that, and then I wrote a bunch of songs and I made a record. I learned how to. I had a Pro Tools rig, and I finally learned how to use it.
Oh, nice.
And that was good. And I ended up that was good. I did a couple of days in a traditional studio with a band, and then did all the overdubs and background vocals and stuff at home. So that was a good experience.
Very cool. I'm gonna ask you one more question, then we'll get you to play. Do you think about your legacy, and is it important to you?
Well, I'm really happy that I'm still able to do this, and I keep trying to find. Yeah, I keep trying to find new ways into it and get deeper. And I keep trying to get better at it. My old teacher, Dale Bruning, is 89 now, and he said the same thing. He said, I went back to the basics, and I really learned a lot of things that had never occurred to me, and that's really inspiring to me. So I think about the people like yourselves, and Sarah Jarosz I guess she's really influenced by me and stuff, and I go, well, that's really cool, and it's reassuring. But it's also like I'm kind of cheering them on. I like that they're growing and they're surprising me, and I just can't wait to see what's next. So I just feel lucky to be in the path of tradition alongside the people that, well, I'm kind of ahead of the, I guess I'm after the people went before me, and then I'm seeing the people that are coming up in my wake, and but luckily I'm still kind of walking alongside them. It's cool, very cool.
You really are. We're really lucky to have you. This is Tim O'Brien, everybody. I'm gonna let Tim play one because he's so. He's. I'm gonna let Tim play one because he is so capable, and he doesn't really need a band. Although we have prepared judiciously to be his band tonight, and we're really excited about it. But we'll let Tim kick things off. Thanks everybody for being here. This is Tim O'Brien.
All right. I'm going to go back to basics. This is a song that I've heard Bill Monroe sing every time I saw him play. My sinning, and I'd work on a building too. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. Hallelujah. Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. My drinking ways, I'd work on a building too. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. That's a Holy Ghost building. That's a Holy Ghost building. Hallelujah. Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. Well, if I was a gambling man, tell you what I would do. I would quit my gambling ways. I'd work on a building too. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. Hallelujah. Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. Well, if I was a preacher, I'd tell you what I would do. Well, I would go on preaching, and I'd work on a building too. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building. I'm working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. Hallelujah. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. Hey. Hey, bring the rest of the crew up here. First of all, I'd like to introduce my lovely wife, Jan Fabricius, ladies and gentlemen. So we got untold stories. So we're gonna do a song that I wrote about my dad and my cousin, and it is a love song, but it's not that kind of love song. But I got it cut by Kathy Mattea, and it got on country radio, and it enabled me to purchase several major appliances. It's called Untold Stories. One, two, three, all those untold stories, all those silent lies. We'll never know each other, keeping them deep inside us. Wash away the troubles, keeping us apart. Tell those untold stories, let the healing start. It's been so long ago that we went our separate ways. Now maybe time has changed us and wore the hurt away. You look the same as ever, and I'm glad you're here with me. Take a look into my eyes and tell me what you see. It's all those untold stories, all those silent lies. We'll never know each other, keeping them deep inside. Let's wash away the troubles, keeping us apart. Tell those untold stories, let the healing start. Forgiveness, and honey, I don't need you now. We built a wall between us, and it's time to tear it down. Let's plant a tree together, maybe we can make it grow. Not now, then maybe never. We might not ever know about all those untold stories, all those silent lies. We'll never know each other, keeping them deep inside. Let's wash away the troubles, keeping us apart. Tell those untold stories, let the healing start. All those untold stories, all those silent lies. We'll never know each other, keeping them deep inside. Let's wash away the troubles, keeping us apart. Tell those untold stories, let the healing start. Let's wash away the trouble, keeping us apart. Tell those untold stories, let the healing start. We're going to do one in the key of E if you're playing along at home. This is one I wrote with a good buddy, Gary Nicholson, lives in Nashville. It's funny, Travis asked me for a list of songs, and I thought, well, I should sort of look through my recordings and think of the ones that were cut by other people, and so that's what we're kind of doing here right now. So another one to help me buy some, kitchen appliances and stuff. The Dixie Chicks recorded this, and right before they said something funny on stage, but it was on that record, Home, I think. And that's a funny thing. Like they, two of the Marty and Emily Irwin, they came up to Boulder when they were in high school. Maybe they were in junior high to take bluegrass lessons from Charles Sawtell and I. and we stayed in touch over the years. And when I sent them the song, they liked it probably because they knew me. Here's it's called "More Love." 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm so close to you now, but I'm so far away. There's a silence between us, so much to say. You're my strength, you're my weakness, you're my faith, you're my doubt. Gotta meet in the middle to work this thing out. More love, I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love, flowing between us and take us and hold us and lift us above. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. We're afraid to be idle, so we fill up the days. We run on a treadmill, keep us slaving away. There's no time for talking about trouble in mind, and the doors are all closed between your heart and mine. More love, I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love, flowing between us and take us and hold us and lift us above. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. Just look out around you, people fighting their wars. They think they'll be happy when they settle the scores. But let's lay down the weapons that keep us apart. Be still for just a minute, try to open our hearts to more love. I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love, flowing between us and take us and hold us and lift us above. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. I can hear our hearts crying. More love, I know that's all we need. More love, flowing between us and take us and hold us and lift us above. If there's ever an answer, it's more love. More love. Give love, get love, more love. So let's see, we're going to do another one. This is another one that comes from a book.
Yeah, which book? No, not from
But
this book.
it comes from a book. I had the melody and chord thing, and it just wouldn't let me alone. I never could figure out what the song was about. And then I read this book by Annie Proulx called Postcards, and it's about a guy who leaves his home under mysterious circumstances. He thinks he may have killed someone. He wasn't really sure. It was like unintentional, but he figures he's going to get in trouble for it, so he just leaves. And then he writes home, but he never says where he is, and he basically never stops moving. And I was saying this last night. We were doing our rehearsal. It was, Jan and I ramble all over the world, and we were lucky we have a place to come home to, and I can't imagine not having that. This is called Brother Wind. The guy's only friend is the wind. Made up my mind to go someplace so far away. I headed west without a sad goodbye. No hugs or tears that way. It's probably for the best. Sent cards along the way. Said I was looking for a brand new life. But I never settled down. My wanderlust would always cut the ties just like a knife. Sometimes a lonesome wind, it calls out like it knows me. And on a night like this, when I don't know where to go, it shows me the way. Knows me, my brother Wed. He's lonely too, and he takes me away. I always looked ahead. I was so afraid I'd be caught behind. Followed a crooked stream to places I have never been, and one more highway sign. And I'm like some other guys, I might count the hours till the day will end. It's not so I can rest, for me it's the time that's best for talking to my friend. 'Cause he knows me, my brother Wed. He's lonely too, and he takes me away. My life is gone, and the only home I ever had is open road. My skin's all cracked and brown, I bear it to the desert ground and the dusty wind that always seemed to blow. And I never made a mark, I just scattered footsteps on the shifting sand. Whatever pushes me, it's something only he could ever understand. 'Cause he knows me, my brother Wed. He's lonely too, and he takes me away. He knows me,
That's Tim O'Brien. We're going to take another short break for our sponsors and be right back with another interview and some more music. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please stick around.
The Travis Book Happy Hour is supported by Thompson Guitars, makers of fine instruments handmade with love in Sisters, Oregon. The crew at Thompson carries on Preston's legacy with handcrafted guitars enjoyed by some of the finest players on the scene. More information at pktguitars.com. You can view this and every Happy Hour episode and the Season 1 podcast anytime at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. Select recordings from Season 1 are featured on the Happy Hour House Band Volume 1 album, and that can be found where you listen to your music. And the Happy Hour returns June 8th with Mr. Graham Sharp of the Steep Canyon Rangers. And now, back to the show.
It is familiar. All right, thank you so much. Hope everyone's doing okay. Are there any questions so far? Oh, God, I'm glad you're digging it. Our sponsors appreciate it too. You know this. We do make this for free. I would do this if no one was here. In fact, that's how it started. Beginning of we did this with nobody here. No one was allowed in here. Way better with y'all here. But let's see, Tim. Can you hear me, brother Tim? Would you care to join me again on stage for the second interview portion? Yeah, let's talk some more, Tim. I'm ready to talk.
Let's talk it, man.
Tim's got more stuff to talk about.
Let's talk the talk.
Let's talk the talk, and then we can pick the pick.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, I'll keep it brief.
We went through my entire life story. Let's start over again. I forget how it started and what it was all about. I just woke up.
Make it up different this time. So yes, I was born in South America. Check this out. You fielded some incredible bands over the years. I remember specifically watching Four Corners Folk Festival after you put out the Crossing record. You had, Casey Dreesen, John Doyle, who are both Asheville residents now,
Yeah.
Kenny Malone. That band was so hot. I also remember specifically watching Danny Barnes blow my mind playing electric guitar at Big Sky Big Grass. How do you decide who to hire for your band?
Well, they're just friends, that I've admired, and I feel like they could teach me something. And Darrell Scott was that way. I asked Darrell to if he would open some shows. I had a run of gigs booked in the UK and Ireland and Scotland, and I said, Darrell, would you like to come and help share driving, and you could open the show? We could split sets, and maybe we could play a few songs together. And we had written some songs together, and then we played our first gig, and it was like, we started playing together. It was like he didn't need to know any of my songs, and I didn't need to know any of his. We just played. And after that first night, we just played every night, the whole night, and we never made up a set list, and we just wailed.
That's
and
incredible.
That was like, that kind of thing. You find those kind of combinations. Casey I met him through his dad and mom. He was just like 8 and 9, starting to play the fiddle. And then when I saw his dad one time, he said, about four years later, he said, "Oh, Tim, he's passed me by." And then he was asking me about, what he should do to learn stuff. And I was saying, well, you're just doing what you're doing. And then I had to put together a band for Steve Earle when Del McCurry left his tour. And most of the fiddle players that I liked that I knew were busy already, and I called Casey, and he had just out of high school. He said, "Great." It was like that kid just came up there and just in his red shoes and just knocked everybody's socks. It turns me on. That's all. I like the people that I really admire.
Yeah. Can I ask you specifically? This last year we lost Kenny Malone, who was such an incredible person. Can you talk a little bit about him? Kenny
was. I met him through Darrell, and the first gig I played with Darrell with him, I said, because Kenny was a jazz guy, he's kind of a spiritual. I didn't realize he was like a real jokester. He was like had a million jokes, but he was an ex-Navy jazz band guy, or big band guy. He moved to Nashville and became a legendary drummer, but he sort of pulled back from that. And when Darrell was playing with him, he was sort of doing different kinds of sessions, kind of. He was still doing the big sessions, but he really liked doing the different stuff. And it was the first drummer I ever played with that was so copacetic. But then he turned out he was like the simplest guy. He was so brilliant at getting in the moment. But he was so spiritual, like it was just a very simple thing that it was about with him to get to the groove. And he didn't, if he had to fix a part, he wouldn't say that will work. He'd say that's it, because he knew where he was headed. I don't know. He just Kenny was one of a kind, and he always had a headband, and he always had he'd have a T-shirt with a wolf on it or something.
Yeah, totally. Yes, something like that. Almost looked like a thrift store find.
He always had a Coke can, an empty Coke can in his car because he made a pipe out of it. He didn't want to get
Classic
busted.
move.
He would smoke out of it, and then he would throw it away.
Yeah.
And he'd get another Coke, and then he'd be ready for the next trip in his car.
That's that's pretty genius. That reminds me when I was in high school, I was hanging out with my buddies, and we were doing donuts in a field. It was snowy, and then we were sitting in my buddy's Bronco, and we were getting stoned, and the cops showed up. And my friend, he mentioned Coke can. My friend had the wherewithal. He took the bag of weed and he stuffed it in the Coke can. And so when the cop got us out, he went to empty his pockets and he put the Coke can on the hood of the police car, searched him, and then when it was time for him to go, he took his Coke can back and he left. We're gonna do this tune in this next set, so we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but. This tune, Not Afraid of Dying, this is stuff your father actually said to you, right?
Yeah, my dad, he died when he was 96. My mom died about 6 years before, and he kind of wondered why he was still around. Like, he was almost 90 when he had open heart surgery because they told him, because he was a young 89. He really was. He was like, they said, you could probably survive this. And my mom was real sick, and he did that so that he could help care for her. So he survived her, and then after she was gone, he was like, I don't know why I'm around, but I'm sure of something. And he sang in the funeral choir, and he
drove the widowers.
Yeah, he would drive the widows to on the Wednesday night early bird dinners. He could see, he could drive, he couldn't hear, he could not hear, but he could drive, he could see, and he would drive them there. And he only went to places he knew exactly where he was going, and it was remarkable, really. And he was so optimistic. He was the most optimistic guy I've ever known. And he was. He loved his hometown of Wheeling, West Virginia, and he really hoped, he said, it's going to be coming back. The steel business had gone, and the town was kind of dead and everything. And he said, I think it's coming back. And now, all these years later, it is kind of coming back in Wheeling, and his wishes come true. So I guess that's good.
2022.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you produced the Dusters. String Dusters' second
record.
Yeah,
that was really a fun thing.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Compass Studios.
Do you have any memories of that session?
Well, you guys were. It was mostly just. You guys were so ready to go. There was very little I had to do. It was just like, stop. That's good. You're done.
Stop, guys. Stop. Seriously.
I mean, you guys
It's
are
fine.
so young and revved up, and I don't know. String Dusters is a killer band, and you guys were finding it right there. You guys started out. You had a lot of stuff together when you first came around. You're one of the first sort of hot lick new bands that had really good singing. A whole bunch of great singers in that band, and
Thanks, man.
and songwriters, and you guys have just kept it up. I'm so proud of you guys. Really
Thanks,
fantastic.
Tim. I appreciate that. We're not going anywhere. We'll be around a long time.
Good. We like
So
the
do I.
String Dusters, yeah.
Great band. I've been to all their shows, except for 2. I missed 2. Tim, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of a few songs that I've written that last. Like that last one, I'm proud of that song, Brother Wind. And I'm really happy when I come up with something like that. Something that I like singing. I don't know. I'm proud of some of the records that I've made and the people that I've worked with. I get to I'm proud of my sons. I had lunch at my son's place where he cooks today. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
He's really, really great, and it's called Nanny's Chicken. It's in the arcade. Really worth going there. It's really good.
So would you say, this is another question I had, would you say is Brother Wind, do you think that's the best song you've ever written?
I think it's among them. Yeah, sure. I'd say, and it's, I wrote it myself. Obviously, I'm responding to somebody else. That's the thing. It's like it's nothing new. There's really nothing new under the sun, or I certainly haven't come up with anything new. But everybody tells the same stories a little differently, and if you can tap into your own sort of version of the truth, I guess, it kind of means more. Like if you kind of relate, you reveal something of yourself, it helps everybody else understand something about themselves. There's some sort of intersecting thing that happens when a good song comes around. Yeah. And they seem to be coming out of the air, when you really get a good one. They just seem to sort of fall in. Yeah. And that's one of those. Yeah, and you're like, you're sort of like great. You're kind of grateful for. Yeah, I'm really. It's the most exciting thing. I mean, it's exciting as sex, really is.
Jan goes, whoa. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, and that's I've had that sense too, where something sort of materialized, and I'm like, yes, like holy shit, this is awesome. This is coming together. Like, thank you.
Jan will tell you. I'll start laughing. I'll start laughing while I'm writing. She said, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "Well, I just like what I'm doing here."
It's happening. It's happening again. Jan, check this out. It's happening again.
She looks at the word. She says, "That's not funny." I said, "Yeah, I know. That's okay though. I like it."
It just makes me happy. What's the most fun you've ever had making music?
Oh man, I don't know. There's been some amazing shows where I thought everything would be, nothing would work. There was one show in London with Darrell Scott. I had this terrible ear infection, and I didn't think I could do anything. We went to the gig as late as possible, just plugged in and played, and I was feeling so bad. But there was a great crowd, and it was in this dive basement bar. But I don't know why. It was because I didn't expect anything. It really came out great. Yeah. And it was surprising, and that's really fun. And it kind of pulls you. It can heal you. I mean, I was sick, and it healed me.
That's amazing.
It's a force, You're getting into the stream of something that's bigger, much bigger than you are. It's like a natural. Music is like nature. It's like trees growing, or like sunlight coming down. It's like it's oxygen. You just need, it's like love. It's the same thing as love. It's just a different expression of it, and it's so mysterious. And it comes and goes, and that's when it comes and it's there and you're in it, it's like, wow, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, totally. I can totally relate. So, Tommy would like, come on. Yeah. That's why I asked you on the show. I was waiting for that. That's what I was waiting for. Tommy would like to know, is Nellie Kane a true story?
No, Nellie Kane is just a, I just made up a story, but it's actually it's like one of those stories. It's like in a Western movie. There's a movie called Shane, one of the classic Westerns, and the protagonist is this sort of drifter who comes in, and the woman's by herself in the frontier with her son, and there's I guess the son's father has gone off, has left him and alone, and there's bandits and Indians and all this stuff, and this guy saves him, and then he ends up marrying her, and they live happily after. It's filmed in Jackson, Wyoming, right under the Tetons. It's like the most beautiful scenery, and so I just kind of wrote it after that story. And the guy that made my mandolin, the first mandolin I had was and it's still made by Nugget Mandolins, Mike Chemnitzer, and he had a son. He had married a woman that had a young child, and he kind of came in that kind of. I was just thinking of him, so it's very simple.
Yeah, well, it's such a good song. It's like
it's a shame it's not true.
Yeah, yeah, Tommy.
It's like Bill Monroe. That song. He said that song's true. He said, "Oh, that's a good song, but it's a shame it's not true."
Well, that song, it's. I mean, you wrote a song that has become part of the bluegrass lexicon, and it's really cool. Like that's kind of like when you talk about legacy, like that kind of to me is like I'd be psyched if people like that was a song I played that got played around campfires for the rest of eternity.
That's the very coolest thing, and that's the very coolest thing that can happen.
I mean, I play that song all the time.
Well, that's really awesome, and that's the biggest compliment that you can ever get is somebody else singing your song, but. When it translates that way, I had a song that Nick Forster and I wrote, and Ralph Stanley recorded it, and he called it traditional, and I thought, wow, that's really kind of cool.
He'd know.
I know.
All right, I got 3 more questions for you, and you don't have to labor over these if you want to, and then we'll get back to the music. What color is your front door?
Is it green? Yeah. It's green. It's green.
He doesn't use the front door. What, if anything, are you afraid of?
Oh, sticking my foot in my mouth.
Well, you've done great tonight so far.
I do that a lot. I just don't want to. I don't want to disappoint people. I try to live up to something. And I'm afraid of that, I guess. I try to do my best. I'm afraid of kind of losing my interest, I guess, but that hasn't happened yet.
I don't think you're at any risk of that. What? And finally, Tim, what is it that makes you happy?
Well, making music and being with people that make music, and being in the community. I love it. I love the community of the musicians, and I love doing it. The process. It's just. It's not like you do it and it's not like work. It's a way of life. It's just a path you follow, and I love that. It's just like all day long.
Well, you're amazing
never
at
goes
it.
away.
It's Tim O'Brien, everybody. Let's get back to playing some music. That's Tim O'Brien right there. I mean, he's like right over there. Just look at him.
Okay. This is I really like this next song. It's on a new record called "He Walked On," and it's one of these ones that just fell out. I didn't know if it was any good, and I played it for Sam Bush. He said, "Oh, it sounds like a really good Tim O'Brien song." To me, it sounded like I just wondered if it was something that he already played, and but it just fell out because all through Black Lives Matters, everybody's watching the news and kind of reading up on stuff and just trying to reckon with things. It was a wake up call. I mean, it's something that society has been working on for hundreds of years, and it was a new wake up call and sort of intense re-investigation. And when Congressman John Lewis died, it was he was such a hero. And I remember when Trump said, "Oh, he's a do-nothing congressman." I'm going, "Geez, man, he does what a lame description." He's like a hero. And but he had this expression, when you pray. Had this expression, when you pray, move your feet, which is basically an old African proverb, and it's basically saying, walk the walk, put into action what you're talking about, what you're thinking about. Don't just think it, do it. And but then it also sort of ends up being like a love song to Jan, and it's sort of like John Lewis kind of comes in later, but it's just he's there all along. I mean, he's doing the right thing. He lived that life, and it's like trying to be a musician and do the right thing with that is kind of my version as best I can to be like that. So when you pray, move your feet, and you can sing it. When you pray, move your feet. Bring his love to the people you meet. Get out your chair, walk the street. When you pray, move your feet. It feels like lightning in your hand when you reach out and help your fellow man. Stronger, stronger the more you do. Each and every time you follow through. When you pray, move your feet. Bring his love to the people you meet. Get out your chair, walk the street. When you pray, move your feet. I tell my lover everything I know. I take her with me everywhere I go. It's understood that we're hand in hand. It means much more when we take a stand. The true love travels from heart to heart. It's always there when you're ready to start. Up along a steep and a winding road. Love's gonna help you lift that load. When you pray, move your feet. Bring his love to the people you meet. Get out your chair, walk the street. When you pray, move your feet. Wind blows and the clouds rain down. Move your feet and make a joyful sound. The Lord is listening and watching too, to keep you safe and to push you through. John Lewis is gone and the words ring on and on and on. Clap your hands, help me sing his song, Good Trouble. Move your feet, cause we can't stop till we reach that mountaintop. When you pray, move your feet. Bring his love to the people you meet. Get out your chair, walk the street. When you pray, move your feet. When you pray, move your feet. Bring his love to the people you meet. Get out your chair, walk the street. When you pray, move your feet. Hey, that's really nice singing these guys are doing. They have John Lewis Way in Nashville now. They dedicated that. It's I think Fifth Avenue. It goes pretty much through town, and he worked in the beginnings of the civil rights movement. They were doing the lunch counter sit-ins, and Woolworths on Fifth Avenue was one of the places that they worked in. And so you walk up John Lewis Way and go right past where he sat down at the lunch counter. Here's a song about modern times and sort of the fear, a lot of fear going on, a lot of nervousness, a lot of like a cat, like being like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. It's nervous. I'm nervous. I want it to 2, and I want it to 3. I get nervous about the guy in the next lane, about luggage space on a plane, about the bills I have to pay, and how long the guests will stay. I'm nervous, I'll get hungry when I'm walking on the street, and there's nothing safe to eat. But I count my calories, brings me to my knees. I'm nervous, I got a whole new kind of need. So nervous, better check my social feed. I watch TV on my phone, and I'm afraid to be alone. I'm nervous. In this new world, they say digital is best, but I need to take a rest. I just can't find the fun and all the zeros and the ones. I'm nervous. Every few minutes, stuff pops up on my screen. I don't know what it means. 10 times too much news, and they're trying to confuse me. I'm nervous. I got a whole new kind of need. So nervous, I better check my social feed. I watch TV on my phone, and I'm afraid to be alone. I'm nervous. Oh yes, I'm nervous when I go out on a run. I can't conceal my gun. They say this land is free, but they're taking aim at me. I'm nervous. I'm just saying, maybe Omicron is waning, but Trump is still campaigning. Here comes the metaverse. It might just get a lot worse, and I'm nervous. I got a whole new kind of need. So nervous, I better check my social feed or watch TV on my phone, and I'm afraid to be alone. I'm nervous, I got a whole new kind of need. So nervous, better check my social feed or watch TV on my phone, and I'm afraid to be alone. I'm nervous. Give a hand to Jan. She's doing a fine job there, playing the mandolin, singing away. She comes from Kansas. People at the festivals called her Jansis. She was Jan from Kansas, and then she moved to Tennessee with me, so now we call her Janesee. Here's that song about my dad. This is all stuff that he would say to me when I go visit him or talk to him on the phone. Not afraid of dying. Let's see if I put this over here so I can see him. It's been a while on this one. Thanks for requesting this one.
Thanks for agreeing to do it.
Well, I'm not afraid of dying. He's waiting around, just swearing on me, just breathing easy. It's a whole lot harder than it used to be. Well, I read my book. I paid a bill, see a check came in. Pick up the widows at 6. Drive them to dinner, then home again. I'm afraid of falling. Just down, it's hard enough to get back up. I must have dozed a little. Oh, remind me again what we were talking about. I'm not afraid of dying. It's just waiting around that's wearing on me. Just breathing easy. It's a whole lot harder than it used to be. I've heard every joke. I just can't remember enough of even one to tell. Put that on speakerphone. Well, that way the caller won't have to yell. I've been around too long. While I wasn't looking, my life just blew on past. Each time I see you, know full well it could be my last. Not afraid of dying. It's just waiting around, it's wearing on me. It's just breathing easy. It's a whole lot harder than it used to be. Something like that. I know where we are. I watched the news tonight. Tell me, is that digital download stuff kind of hurting your music business some? Who sets all your stuff up? When you play here again, I sure hope I can come. You know, I tried that station. Just can't make it come on inside these walls. I guess I'm hard of hearing. Sometimes I hear your mother call. You're always moving. You need to find some way you can stay at home. I thought by now you'd be a teacher. I guess that music bug grabbed you, wouldn't leave you alone. You know, you boys are really something. It's just so nice you have a beautiful wife. Thanks for coming to see me, lad. Oh, you know, I might have had just enough of this life, and I'm not afraid of dying. Whoa. It's waiting around, it's wearing on me, just breathing easy. It's a whole lot harder than it used to be. I'm not afraid of dying. Whoa, whoa. It's waiting around, wearing on me, just breathing easy. It's a whole lot harder than it used to be. Whoa, yeah. Thank you. All right, we're going to do one more for you, folks. Thank you for being here on the. Oh, we got grandma's hands. Oh, that's not right. We got more music. Anyway, I'm going to do a song about working.
You're not wrong.
You're the MC. Tell me what's going on.
No. You're right. We have one more, and then we'll take a short break for the sponsor. And then we play again.
Then we play again. This is it's another one. I have a lovely interview tape of Sturgill interviewing Bob Dylan, and I've read some of his books, and then He has a book called Workin', and I ended up writing a song in the wake of reading that book. Just a long list. There's a song, a type of song called a list song. This is one of those. Workin', so it's about you all, whatever you're doing. We play, but you work. It's nice. You got a nice job. A one, a two, a one, two, three. Yeah, I'm working on the building, I'm working on the mine, I'm working on the river up and down the line. I'm working on the river, I'm working on the boat, I'm working on the log jam, anything that floats. I'm working in the kitchen, I'm chopping with a dime, I'll be washing dishes all of my life. I'm working in the morning, in the afternoon, bringing in the harvest underneath the moon. I got two heads, a back that's strong, put them in the rhythm, sing a working man song. I've been working since the dawn of time, anybody working is a friend of mine. I'm working with the hammer, I'm working with the saw, I'm working in the library reading the law. I'm working with the papers, the brushes, and the pens, setting up the job and starting again. Kiss my woman goodbye, I'll be leaving soon. Working at the square dance, playing fiddle tune. I'm working on a big rig, hands on a wheel, loading up a trailer with the 3 tons of steel. I got two hands, a back that's strong, put them in a rhythm, sing a working man's song. I've been working since the dawn of time, anybody working is a friend of mine. I'm working on the ledge, I got a rope around me now to keep it falling off the edge. I'm working in the garden, trimming up the trees. I'm hoeing up the roads, pulling up the weeds. I'm working in the schoolhouse, working on the news. I'm working in the honky-tonk, singing the blues. I'm working in the hospital, filling out forms, setting broken bones, having baby be born. I got two hands, a back that's strong, put them in a rhythm, sing a working man's song. I've been working since the dawn of time, anybody working is a friend of mine. Looking in the mirror, got the wrinkles on my face, that's the price I pay for running this race. Saving up my wages, I put them in the bank, paying on the mortgage, I'm filling the tank. I'm saving up for college for a rainy day, I'm arranging up a cello, keep it working away. I do what I can, keep the wolf from the door, I'm working like my father and his father before. I got two hands, a back that's strong, put them in a rhythm, sing a working man's song. I've been working since the dawn of time, anybody working is a friend of mine. Anybody working is a friend of mine. You're all friends of mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Take one more quick break for our sponsor. Come back with another tune for you.
T-shirt supporting the Happy Hour motto, "It's okay to be happy," available now at thetravisbookhappyhour.com. And the Travis Book Happy Hour is written and produced by Travis Book. Sound engineer is Andy Eubanks. Video produced by John Serra. And I am AVL. The voice you're hearing belongs to Bill Kabilis. The Happy Hour is made possible throughout the generous support of viewers and listeners like you. You can contribute anytime at paypal.me/TravisBook1 or Venmo Travis Book. And the entire Happy Hour family would like to thank you for your support. And now, back to the show.
Yeah, for those of you tuning in at home, we do appreciate any help you can give us. It all adds up. There's a lot of people here that we're keeping employed. Most of all, Tommy down there. I got you. You're gonna make rent this month.
Thank you for asking the Nellie Kane question.
Anything for you. Yeah, Venmo, PayPal, whatever works. Big thanks to everybody here at the Grey Eagle, and thank you all for coming. We're going to do one more for the video stream, and then those of you watching at home, you're going to miss out, but we're going to do a kick-ass encore here for everybody who's in the house.
This is a song from Bill Withers, Grandma's Hands. Sing along if you know the words. Sing along if you don't. It doesn't matter. Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hands played the tambourine so well. Grandma's hands used to issue out a warning. She'd say, Billy, don't you run so fast. Might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes here in the grass. Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands sued a local and with mother. Grandma's hands used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hands used to lift her face and tell her, she'd say, baby, Grandma understands that you really love that man. Put yourself in Jesus' hands. Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands used to hand me a piece of candy. Grandma's hands picked me up each time I fell. Grandma's hands, boys, they really came in handy. She'd say, Matty, don't you whip that boy. What you want to spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core. But I don't have Grandma anymore. When I get to heaven, I'll look for my Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands played the tambourine so well. Grandma's hands, boys, they really came in handy. Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands. Grandma's hands.
Thank you all so much. That's Tim O'Brien, Jan Fabricius, Tommy Marr on the dobro. And I'm Travis Book. We'll see you back here again on June 9th.